Welcome to the world of sci-fi stories, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Enjoy the listening. The plan was perfect, until the humans arrived. High Admiral, the human fleet will be arriving in 50 seconds, an officer announced from his sensor suite. The High Admiral clicked his tongue in acknowledgement. Good relay to all ships to hold fire until I give the order. I wish to speak to the enemy before they are broiled alive within their ships. As you command, High Admiral. Another officer replied dutifully, typing away at a console to disseminate the command to the rest of the fleet, which they only received several seconds after its transmission due to light lag. The High Admiral watched the monitor closely as all the ships under his command responded affirmatively to his order. A satisfying sight to behold. A wall of green was presented to the Admiral at the end, and he could not be more pleased. Take us to maximum safe distance from the enemy's exit point. We must maintain the tradition, even if they do not, lest we be deemed cowards, he ordered immediately, feeling the ship's drive, accelerating his flagship to the front of his Delta Cross formation. Humongous retrograde thrusters fired, grinding the 600 million ton flagship to a halt at the tip of the formation. Star Guider, what position does this bring us in terms of gravitas? The stars must illuminate behind us to give the proper image of strength, the High Admiral said, eager to provide an incredible performance for his people when he puts the humans in their place. It provides an optimal display, sir. The humans shall bask in our shadow as you demand their submission, the Star Guider answered, standing beside the High Admiral. Good, the High Admiral hummed. This would surely be a spectacular show of force. Not only would he, High Admiral Vale and Seraph, be the first to battle against an alien foe, but he would also be the first to claim victory over one. With this, he shall be ingrained in the annals of history. So sure was he of this fact that he had spent the last 7 hours making himself presentable. Ship crashing in now, High Admiral. It was showtime. Vien's Admiral Cape swayed regally as he sauntered up to the bridge's main display. Cameras from various news stations installed on his ship shortly after sending the humans their declaration of war tracked his every movement for the rest of his species to view at home, although it would be delayed as the lag of faster-than-light communication persisted as a technological hurdle. To this very day, Vien's Seraph stood ramrod straight as he watched space swirl in a vortex of exotic eads, otherworldly light pouring in through visible lines of the spiral. The lines expanded and grew everlastingly until they formed a solid circular gateway into shattered space. Vien visibly paled at the size of the gateway. Just what had the humans brought? He thought to himself unconsciously, backing away from the screen before remembering that this event was being broadcast across the home system ship. Emerging High Admiral, the same officer seated at the sensor suite, announced as a silhouette of a truly massive vessel appeared from the fog of shattered space. What happened afterward was pure chaos. The angular bow of the human ship impacted the gateway, smashing through it like a bullet, sending glass-like shards of the gateway into Vien's fleet. Full reverse, the High Admiral shouted frantically as shards of the gateway flew past and into his other ships. The shards erased whole sections of the ships they made contact with, sending Ted a staggering fleet casualty of 20%. Impossible. Possible. A fifth of my fleet gone. The High Admiral ground his teeth. He would have to execute whoever had obtained the information about the safe distance of the humans' exit point later, for it was clearly false. Hello, a human voice cut through his thoughts via the ship's loudspeakers. We got a few questions to ask you. Mind answering some of them? The human captain said with a smug tone. What? Who allowed them to connect? Shut it off now, he ordered, only for his voice to be overshadowed by the human excuse me. Can you hear me? The speakers blared again, forcing the crew of the Imperious Saint to clutch their ears in pain. Oh, sorry about the volume, the human said sheepishly, scratching the back of their neck, clearing his throat. So are you the guys who sent us that declaration of war? He asked confidently, because I'm pretty sure you are going to need more ships than what you brought. Veen finally recovered from the auditory attack, his face scrunching up in anger as he laid his eyes on the grinning human. This human had caused him everything: his career, his fleet, even his dignity, he thought as he remembered. Falling on his snout, no, this time he would not abide by tradition. He flicked his claws in silent command, the meaning of which was prepare to fire all weapons. Immediately he had been humiliated enough. He was going to give judgment on these damn humans and toss the rest of their kind into the fiery depths of the core. You, he said slowly, you have attacked us without provocation. It is clearly detailed in that bioweapon canister we sent to your world that we are to meet roughly 6 light minutes apart and to only attack one another once we have exchanged names. Veen lied, for he was the one that had crossed over into the designated human zone. Oh, so you were the ones that sent that nasty virus bomb to New Colonia? The human replied, quite pleased with the information. Well, thanks for being honest. It's always good to get confirmation, you know. Veen let out a sinister chuckle. What I know, human, is that your bloated target of a ship is about to become your own personal inferno. He laughed. And for your dying thoughts, I was the one that sent out the declaration. Hope your species enjoyed cleaning the infected remains of the victim of the nerve flame virus. Now die. And with a flick of his tail, tens of thousands of cruisers fired off their batteries, their nuclear payloads, hurtling towards the large human vessel. Vale thought that those final words would instill at least some fear into the human, but instead, what on earth did you call my ship? The human said, staring intently at Veen, uncaring of the fact that he had admitted to attempted planetary genocide. Everyone in the attack was fine. Most just reported itchiness around the groin. David, rewind the audio. I want to hear it out from that scaly creature's mouth just to make sure I heard what I heard. Yeah, boss, I'm right on it, said an off-screen officer. The audio rewound to the exact point it was said, and the repeated utterance caused the human captain to collapse in a heart attack, risking rage. David, the captain said in between pants, change priority 1 to getting that mother stinking lizard on my ship. Yes, sir, David replied without hesitation. The human captain then turned his gaze back to Veen and pointed at him. I will skin you. The transmission ended then, and they're causing mild confusion for the rest of the crew of the Imperial Saint, and pants soiling terror for Veen. When will the nuclear-tipped slugs make contact? Veen stammered out, hoping to all that is mighty that the shots hit and don't somehow just come flying back at them in about 10 seconds. High Admiral, we should see their fusion engine explosion any time now, the sensor officer replied, assuring. And so the bridge crew waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. Slowly but surely Veen's fear had become infectious, resulting in the chairs of all the bridge crew becoming rather soaked. High Admiral, I think it is best we retreat, the crewman attempted to say before his head was splattered open by a piece of shrapnel that came out of nowhere. We got a hull breach. Another crew member shouted, moving to seal up the hole. Full retreat, Veen ordered, gripping his armrests until they split open and revealed the soft cushions underneath. The Imperial Saint moved starboard but was pushed to port when the ship on her right exploded into nuclear hellfire. This served as a catalyst for the rest of Veen's fleet to follow as ships from left to right, up and down, and well, just the back of the ship, considering the Imperial Saint's position as the spearhead erupted into glowing balls of plasma. Veen, the High Admiral of the 45th Subjugation Fleet, was screaming for his life as his ship was tossed from one exploding ship to another like a game of interstellar ping-pong. What is going on? Why me? The High Admiral cried before falling through a wormhole. The moment he fell through, he saw the quickly rushing floor of the other side. Oh, finally, mercy at last, he thought to himself. But just as he could feel the cold plate pressing against his face, all his momentum seemingly disappeared. Now he was suspended by inertial generators, and standing before him with the human captain and David. Hello again, scaly creature, the captain said in a casual tone, all the animosity and vulgarity inherent in the language he used not translating to his cadence and facial expressions. Veen could only whimper while he dangled in front of the human. Like meat on a hook, please don't kill me. Veen pleaded. Oh, don't worry, I won't. I forgot to say alive before, so I get why you were scared, the captain said, plating. Hands held up in the associated gesture. But you're going to have to wait a bit. My skinning knives are still undergoing sharpening, so in light of that, I'm going to tell you what's in store for you. Ready? The human captain asked, getting a negative shake from the high admiral. All right, first I'm going to inject you with this no-pain serum since I don't believe in torture. It also keeps you from dying from shock. Then I'm going to see how many alligator skin blankets I can make from you and show you the results. Finally, I'm going to sell them on the market and make some money. Does that sound good to you, partner? Why, Veen demanded. Why are you being so cruel to me? Veen's head went flying back as he was struck in the snout. Why? Because you shat on my beloved Hell Krieger. That's like taking a steaming pile of excrement down my throat. Do you think I'll let someone do that and not make them get what's coming to you? Actually have lizard brains, you mother stinking under-evolved primitive scaly creature, he questioned before taking deep breaths. Veen flinched as the captain's hands made a move to wipe away the blood on his snout. I'm sorry, I forgot you weren't on the serum yet, the captain apologized. At that moment, David walked in, carrying a few long but thin knives. About time, David, go stick him with the needle. Let's get this party started. And as David plunged the needle into Veen's forearm, the only sense left was hearing. Don't worry about the pain. The serum really works, David whispered into his ear. Just get used to seeing your own skin is what I would say, but you're already a lizard, so you're probably used to seeing your shed skin anyway. Well, good luck. From then on, people across the Milky Way swear that they could hear screams echoing out in the silent expanse of space 3 hours after the Hell Krieger had left the Aladdin Nebula. Jesus Christ, what happened here? A sensor officer asked, looking at the wrecks of hundreds of thousands of ships floating through space. This is the work of a dreadnought, boy, a bunch of lunatics, the lot of them, a captain replied, wanting to tow the wreck as quickly as possible and get out of there. Agreed. Who would have known a ship with just wormhole generators could do so much damage?